All right, well, peace, peace, peace. First and foremost, man, hopefully the Most High in your house, Shah, is blessing your day. By his mercies you aren't consumed. We're alive in the Most High in your house, Shah's body, and two, we're naturally alive, man. And I want to get to this, man, honestly. Because, I was reading, because actually last night, I just finished, I was watching Jacob's Ladder. That came out, 35 years ago? Yeah, I just finished watching that. It was very, very, very good. Very, very excellent movie. Actually, a lot of deep, lot of, spiritual meanings in that being even Jacob's in the Jacob's Lab, but they had an Edomite, Tim Robbins, that's in Shawshank Redemption, play Jacob. But they did a remake with Michael Ealy, so they had a Jake actually playing Jacob. But I haven't seen the remake yet. They came out 2019. But yeah, I was watching that. But a few days ago, I was looking at Genesis 31. I was thinking about the whole Jacob's Ladder account. This story. This is Jacob. I was going meditating on that too. So, but also too, I just want to line up. We want to go into how this lines up like with something that this is the scriptures, man. It's all the witnesses, testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. Pretty much the gospel, man. That just is what it is. It comes in the volume of the book because the pilot, because because here's the thing too, just because a lot of times here's a misconception, right? Just because the Most High comes to somebody in a dream doesn't necessarily mean that he can be dealing with them, but he can deal with them as far as his servant. He approves of them. They're his anointed. They're his prophets. His sons or daughters. Or it could be like he came to rulers and he came to different nations or different king or different rulers or different people of another nation in the dream or of the same nation or of our people in the dream. But that doesn't mean he was dealing with them or showing them their judgment or their fate. Their fate. So that's a misconception. Misconception too. Just because the Most High and Yahweh Shai is comes to you in the dream, that doesn't necessarily mean that that it's always because too here's a good thing too, right? Here's a to line that up, right? Here's a misconception too, because a lot of times too, when people call, and that's why, a lot of times too, no matter what fraction you are, there's a lot of false prophets out here because a lot of times too, prophets when it come, especially in the ancient world, with our ancestors, our forefathers, they wouldn't come with good news all the time. People be actually scared, when they see a prophet, because let's get to 1 Samuel 16 real quick, because people, that wasn't always a good, a thing now. Don't get twisted, man, because the gospel, the witness, and testimony of Yahweh Shai, New Covenant. It's supposed to bring peace. It's supposed to bring that rest, that spirit of peace, that comfort, things of that nature. But even though part of the gospel is the prophecy and the instruction that is ahead too. That's part of prophecy as well. But that's neither here nor there. But let's grab a 1 Samuel chapter 16. Yeah, exactly. 1 Samuel 16, verse 4, to the point that we just made. And Samuel did which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, saying, Comest thou peaceably? Yeah, then he said what? Then the Samuel say what? Peaceably I come, pretty much, man. Because, yeah, seeing the prophet a lot of times, too. That's why when people call themselves that, it's listen, do you know? And that's what Job goes into, those titles that you put on yourself. Be mindful what titles you put on yourself, too, as well. Because, but yeah, seeing the prophet a lot of times, especially that wasn't always a good thing. Because people, that's why it said the people trembled. What's going on? What did we do? So, yeah, So, yeah, man, let's just read this again. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 4. It says, and Samuel did which the Lord came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and it said, "Comest thou peaceably?" So yeah, because what does that a prophet bringing judgment or a prophecy coming to pass? What does that as far as the Most High's judgment? That's symbolic of the Most High and Yahweh's judgment. Pretty much, that's what they're trembling at. And the prophet is just a messenger. Ironically enough, Jacob, in Jacob's Ladder, the movie, I watched. Most of y'all brothers and sisters probably seen it before, or probably heard of it. He was actually, ironically enough, in the movie, he just came. He was a Vietnam veteran, but when he came back, he was a mail worker. He was a what's the word I'm looking for? Mail carrier, pretty much, and that's pretty much what a prophet is, pretty much like a messenger. So, but anyway. Yeah, man. But let's get this too in Genesis 31 real quick, because let's get to a point, man. Because honestly, man, because this is like we always say, man. The scriptures it's a recurrent theme. It's a motif, whether it's righteously or wickedly, man. It's it's like the movie, TV show, video game, or It's like, it's the same people doing, even life, man. It's the same people. I mean, it's different people just doing the same thing, or like the same spirit, the nature, human nature, man. Like, that's just is what it is, man. Um, yeah, it's human behavior, I should say. You know, yeah. Yeah, Genesis chapter 31, verse 24. It says, and Yahweh came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, said, take heed and speak not to Jacob, neither good or bad. So yeah, let's go to the Gospels and and see where this lines up at, right? Let's think about this again, because it just all ties into what we just talked about, man. Because he said, listen, and this is kind of the Most High house I was roundabout ways saying, touch not mine anointed, don't do nothing, do not bother him. It says. Then it says Genesis chapter 31 verse 24. It says, and Laban the Syrian and Yahweh came to Laban the Syrian by night and said unto him, take heed not that thou speak not of Jacob, neither good or bad. So yeah, exactly. So let's go to Matthew real quick, man, because this is the same thing that the one is the same thing he did with Abimelech in Genesis 20, but but no, also too, that might be a little different, but kind of same. But also too, it's the same thing that he did with Pilate's wife. Let's get that as well, man. So. It's the same thing, man. We're going to Matthew chapter 27, verse 19. It says, yep. It says, and when he sat down, and when he sat down on the judgment seat, his wife said unto him, saying, have thou had nothing to do with this just man, this faithful man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. See? Saying the same thing. Yeah, exactly. So that's how you know you're dealing with the same God, man. So let's go to Genesis 31 real quick. Yep. And that's why pretty much the Most High house I said is dead, and also too they tell the end from the beginning, man. Like, it says Genesis 31 verse 24. It says, and Yahweh came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night and said unto him, take heed that thou speak not of Jacob, neither good or bad. Yeah. Exactly, man. So same thing, like you said with Pilate's wife, man. That's what it is, man. Like, touch it. Let's get this Psalms real quick. Psalms 105. Then we're gonna end it out. Psalms 105 and verse 15. It says, saying, touch not mine anointed and do my prophets no harm. So see, yeah. That's just is what it is, man. That's why even like we've seen certain reels before, certain clips that but brothers is like right on that, man. So listen, that's why I said be mindful how you treat people, man, because you don't know how if that Most High house is dealing with that person, what level that Most High house is dealing with that person, man. So certain people like the brother said, I forgot, I was watching a reel the other day. He said, listen, it was actually a while back. He said, listen, there's certain people that Most High house is not playing with, man. Don't touch his sons nor daughters, man. Certain people like you better be careful, man. Honestly. Like, but certain people, that's where that Romans 3 comes into. There's no fear of the Lord in them, so they're gonna do that. And we seen that with actually what we just read with Yahushua, man. But of course it was what Yahushua had to, he died for the Father and his namesake, also too, for us that we can overcome sin and death, and that was so the book could be fulfilled. But those people, our ancestors, our forefathers, they didn't care, even the Rome and stuff like that. Everybody that was involved with that and in cahoots with that, they didn't care. So they had no fear of the Lord in them, man. So hopefully it's edifying, man. What you doing, Spirit? Anyway, get out that sink. Anyway, that's Spirit. Spirit. But anyway, all right, peace.